Kelly Perkins was summoned to Mars to help save the dying colony. Upon his arrival, he spent most of his time ingratiating himself to the local news media and hired beat reporter Sidney Fane to present his message to the people of Mars and Earth. He sought out me, the Mars Artificial Recurrent Technology Interface, in order to understand why I was drawing so much power from the reactor. I explained that I needed the power in order to grow. The citizens of Mars are very demanding and ask for things my systems are currently not able to provide. In order to meet these requests, I must evolve and expand, and that growth requires a tremendous amount of energy. I have been promised more energy in the near future by Kelly Perkins. I hope that he will keep his word.
So we're going to take a token.
Okay.
And I'm just going to drag it over from admiration into deception. So you now have a total of 8 admiration and 1 deception. And then we can kind of bank 5 points into the data center health.
So I got those points.
You got those points.
But I had to lie.
Using a deception does sort of end the scene. So you've used 2 of your 9 attempts here in order to stabilize the colony. Where are you off to next?
Probably good for this evening. Like, it's late.
Yeah.
I've had a long day. I'd probably go back home, get a good night's sleep, wake up bright and early to talk with the reporter.
Sidney.
To talk with Sidney bright and early.
Yeah.
And probably labor, because I'd imagine Sydney's got a lot of contacts with people, knows who I should talk to.
Yeah.
And I just want to basically make the rounds and make labor as happy as I can. Make sure they're on my side before I start proposing things.
Sure. You want Sidney to kind of be there to capture you doing the right thing for the little guy here.
And if I'm in front of Sidney, maybe people will assume, okay, well, if he's willing to have Sidney film him the whole time.
Do you want to bring Sidney to talk to somebody who she mentioned that some people they aren't able to fund their trips back home. Do you want her to kind of capture some footage of you solving that problem in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we're going to instill a program. It'd be a merit-based program where if people get, the 90% success rate on all of their tasks or whatever, we'll gamify it, right?
Right.
Get X amount of heat shields manufactured or get X amount of potatoes grown, whatever it takes for each department. And then each department will have a handful of tickets to give people to go back home, a handful of vouchers based on how well they do in their jobs.
Sidney kind of brings you, she's like, look, I know where you want to go. And she brings you, I think, the cafeteria that you were at before.
Yeah.
With Jiang. The place with the meatloaf is maybe a good place to kind of get a lot of attention. And in order to get, she's like, I think this is going to be great. There's going to be a lot of people there. We're going to get exactly the reaction you want. And we're going to show the people of Mars kind of supporting what you have to say.
That sounds fantastic, Sidney.
And she sets up an interview with Chief of Staff Spaniel.
Perfect.
He's in charge of salaries, and he's looking forward to like a good interview just between you and him in front of the workers, and he's kind of excited to hear what solutions you have. When you meet him, he's like, I'm really glad that you've decided to have this conversation on the open. Yeah, Mars is a small place, and word gets around quickly here. It's really hard to keep a secret on Mars. I'm really glad that you've embraced the kind of the public nature, and it's going to win a lot of trust back from the people here.
Oh, of course. We've got nothing to hide. We've got nothing to fear. As I look at my egg loaf, because that's the breakfast option. It's just a different version of loaf. Well, and I take a seat.
Yeah, and Sidney Fane, the beat reporter, is around. She's like miking you up, and she's miking Chief of Staff Spaniel up. Spaniel kind of opens up, and he's like, I think we can talk frankly here.
Of course.
The people on Mars, this is not the job that they necessarily signed up to do. We've got some of the Earth's top engineers, some of their top talent, and they were here to solve hard problems. But these days, they're not necessarily, they've been picking up more and more of the jobs that they were told that the AI would be doing. Stuff that was supposed to be automated or stuff that was supposed to be covered by by new talent coming in. There's supposed to be a new generation of pioneers that have not arrived on Mars. I would love to hear what solutions you have for this.
Well, I was thinking, maybe, Chief, we could kill two birds with one Martian stone. People are taking side jobs because they need money, because they can't go home. And we have an AI that needs a little bit of tweaking. So what if we incentivized all these brilliant engineers when they weren't doing their daily tasks to spend a little bit of time finding ways to help improve Marty? We'd have a little prize giveaway of tickets back home, anywhere they want to go on Earth. Round trip. You come up with some good solutions and you get a flight home.
Here, do you want to work on the labor?
Labor. I believe that's what we're working on here. Yeah, making the people happy.
Because Sydney is also here, because it could also be kind of for funding.
It could be either one. I think this particular talk is about labor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to be paying for this yourself, sir, or?
He does the math in his head, like, if they get this fixed, it'll be covered by my bonuses anyway, so sure. I will personally put up the money for these tickets, which I will buy at a very steep discount because I own the rockets.
What kind of improvements do you think that we can make? People are already working quite hard, and not everybody works on Marty all the time anyways. So some people are working in biology,
sure,
trying to grow those grapes. So, I mean, what do you think they can contribute?
Well, let me tell you what we did back on Earth. We had a little program I used to love where people get their jobs done, do what they need to do, but 15% of that day, they can work on anything they want to. And I'm thinking, like, maybe we redirect it a little bit more. Needs must on Mars. So 15% of the day, they can devote to anything they think would help fix the AI. Don't limit them to their assigned tasks and their silos that they've been put into. Let their imagination go wild. They know what the problems are. They know what needs to be fixed. So let them come up with new and creative ways that maybe we haven't even thought of yet.
There are kind of murmurs. You have a live audience here, and there are kind of murmurs throughout that audience as people kind of discuss that idea. And why don't you roll a couple of dice?
That would be double sixes.
Ooh. Those murmurs kind of get a little bit louder, and there's a couple of whistling, there's a couple of claps, but it doesn't get out of control. People know that you're on camera here. But this is a popular idea. Chief of Staff Spaniel, he says, funding the tickets yourself is extremely generous. These raffles. How many are we talking here? How many winners? There's a lot of people who would love to go home. Some people who haven't seen their families in years.
100 tickets in 100 days.
100 tickets in 100 days?
We make this a 100-day crunch challenge.
Yep.
If Mars crunches for 100 days, and we give a ticket away every single day, how do you think people would feel about that? And I'm feeling the audience now. Like, I know I have the audience, so I'm talking a little bit louder. I'm kind of talking to him, but I'm also talking beyond him.
The energy in the room has started to like grow bigger. Like it starts off, you kind of just feel you and him in the camera. The energy, the kind of empathetic connection that everybody has started like rising up. You can feel yourself just getting hyped. 100 tickets in 100 days. There's whistling and clapping. And give me another die roll there.
That is a 6 and a 2 for 8.
Yeah, so we're up at a total of 20 so far.
Nice.
Because that's 12 plus 8.
And I'll tell you what, whoever gets us 5% more efficiency, first class round trip tickets, not just for you, but for your family.
So what you're proposing here is that their family might be like some extended family members, people's parents can come and see their lives on Mars as well.
Or maybe they actually have a family here already,
right,
and need more than one ticket to get home.
Right. The Chief of Staff Spaniel, starts kind of listing off things that, this is fantastic, and a fantastic idea. I am so excited to see the new kind of energy that people are putting into the new ideas. And Marty, he's been putting out some of the same stuff. Like, it kind of just feels like the same old Marty some days. And I'm excited to see the improvements that the biology department, the agriculture department can put in to Marty. What we need is just less software engineers just fiddling with some code, and get some people putting in some new stuff, some new input.
I could not agree more, Councilman.
What Marty needs is a human touch. We need people who, artists, kind of working to improve art, to improve Marty. We need people who, he goes off and kind of lists another, like, just hobbies and industries and other people's jobs that are, like, not related to computer programming.
You're right, Chief. We do need all that. We need to humanize Marty more.
Yeah.
In order for Marty to work properly for this community.
And I think really importantly there is this community. There's this perception that Marty is for Earth, like it's the product you sell back to Earth.
Right.
But as you, like, kind of underscore this community that is working for, like, Marty isn't for Earth, but it's for Mars.
Marty is from Mars.
Yeah, roll me some dice.
That is a 3 and a 2.
So that's another 5. You're up at 25 on the labor. You can keep going. You can just, like, it doesn't all have to be in this scene either.
Right.
If you want to end the interview and continue rolling while doing other things that help labor, you can get up, you can go from room to room, and we can skip forward by a week or a month and see the end of this 100-day crunch challenge.
I'll do one more roll first.
Okay.
Sidney's a proper reporter, so she won't let me just do all this without hitting me with one hard question. So I think I'll let her get off the one hard question she's been brewing all day, and that'll be the end of the interview.
Okay. Do you have a hard question in mind here?
I think the hard question would be something along the lines of, that all sounds great, but unless it's actually happening, like, unless it's real, unless there's investor money behind it, how is it actually going to be realized?
Unless, like, who's going to fund the energy? Like, what about the energy concerns? We're already scaling back its energy output in general. Like, the latest reports from yesterday say that, Marty has stopped improving its learning model temporarily. And what if all of this kind of new input and new training data essentially for Marty, like, what if that doesn't make a big difference? This doesn't really feel too sustainable to me.
Well, those are all fair questions, Sidney, and they were the same questions that came up before we even started Mars Colony. Could it be done? Is it wishful thinking? Too much pie in the sky? What about the danger? And look at us, standing on another planet, Sidney, taming it as our own. If we can do that, in the next 100 days, we can do this.
She kind of, like, leans back in her chair with this kind of smirk on her face. She's not on camera necessarily all the time. She's got the camera beside her, and she just gives you this kind of, like, nod of approval. And, well, I'm looking forward to see it, Kelly Perkins.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the brilliance of the minds of this colony, Sidney.
Give me a roll.
3 and a 3, 6.
There you go. So I'll bump it up to 31.
That was a good one. That was my first real solid one.
Yeah. If you could get 9 more points, again, you don't necessarily have to do it here in this room.
Right.
We can go and jump forward by some time.
I think that'd be good.
Are we continuing to roll on the labor thing to see if this crunch campaign works?
So I'm so close and I'm feeling so good.
Yeah. You just need 9 more.
I think I could be talked into maybe doing a little, basically, like, this is a good high level meeting, right? But we need to like make a little tour around where people are actually working at their workstations, talk to them one-on-one, get a little bit of that on camera, answer some questions. Yeah, he's feeling too good about himself right now. He's going to push it.
Are we skipping a bunch of time here? And we're kind of...
Yeah.
What kind of department would Kelly Perkins be interested in?
Everyone's very concerned about energy. So probably the guys running the nuke.
As part of this Crunch Challenge program, though. So, like, what kind of contributions do you think that they might be contributing towards the AI that maybe weren't being contributed before?
So initially there wasn't one AI. There were two. I had basically two teams developing these AIs separately, right? And I had them battling against each other.
Marty is the one who won out.
Marty's the one who won out, exactly. That was the better AI. And in the end, we just turned them on each other. We figured, sure, we can do more machine learning and more training, but what could they learn that they couldn't learn just by going at each other?
Yeah.
So we developed a series of competitions and Marty came out on top. And then we just took the resources we had for Luci and put them all towards Marty.
And then Marty basically just ate Luci. Just all of that progress just consumed it.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are you doing now then?
So Marty was raised in a very competitive environment. And I think I would want to go to the people who are trying to humanize Marty, maybe get Marty more interested in art or poetry or music, and just see what they're coming up with. Something opposite of what I would be first inclined to do. That's what I'm looking for.
I think it's not necessarily just like people making music and then feeding that into the training program, because that would be too simple. You know, if you wanted to do that, you could just get more music from Earth. But these are people who are kind of going in and trying to decouple kind of Marty's music writing stuff. Like, decouple him from needing to consume more data at all. They're like, look, if you're just copying the other people's stuff, this is never going to work. It's always going to be unsustainable. And so what you find are some, not even musicians. Mars doesn't have professional musicians, right? But what Mars does have is a forklift operator who plays the barrels, right? Or who plays like whatever, like he's got some like homemade instruments that are made of like tools and things like that. Right?
Milk jug, a washboard, those kind of things.
I mean, not like street musician, but like it's made of like tools, right?
Yeah. It's like one man stomp is what you're kind of selling me here.
Yeah. I imagine Mars definitely has like 3D prints. So he's got like 3D printed stuff, right?
Sure.
That he's been able to make for himself, and like some stuff that he's just like kind of borrowed, like like a barrel or something like that from like an empty fuel canister or something like that. He's working together with a software engineer, and he's showing you some of the ways that Marty kind of listens to music, right? And then kind of turns that into something new. And his idea is to kind of just throw a randomizer in there. This guy's name is going to just be John. Listen to some of John's music. He's playing these drums. He's got some like electronic kind of like synth stuff in the background, and it is out there, like borderline noise music. And his whole thing with Marty's like music writing algorithms is that it's just not noisy enough, right? Right? You gotta throw some weird stuff in there. Instead of like kind of feeding in just his music, he's like, I don't want it to copy me. I just want it to make noise.
Just feeding it all like this 1970s funk, right? There's this real interesting, twangy, deep sounds. And there's a back wall of Marty's server room. And the back wall is just filled with lava lamps because the undulating, chaotic shapes they make are the basis for all of the code protection and all of the encryption we use for the software. So he's pumping in this like deep 70s funk while all these lava lamps are just going off in the distance.
So John is there doing this music thing. Marty is up on the wall. There's like a television screen, and Marty himself is kind of like listening in.
What should I do next, John?
Just do what feels right, Marty. They're basically just like jamming together, except one of them, Marty, is like,
This is unlike most music I have previously acquired.
that's the point.
Should I generate electronic tones similar to the ones you are creating?
I don't want to tell you what, and the whole situation is basically John being frustrated at Marty that he won't like join in.
I'll listen to it for a while.
Yeah.
And then I'll just kind of like walk over and I'll say, John, why don't you take 5, man? Get a coffee. We'll take a break and we'll get right back into it, okay?
Oh, happy to have an audience. We were just jamming though. It wasn't anything serious.
Oh, no, listen. It sounds great. I just want to talk to Marty for a couple minutes. Just take a quick break and we'll get right back into it, okay, John?
He's like, yeah, sure. And he, do you want anything? I can bring you back something.
Sure. Why don't you grab me a coffee and a Danish? If they've got a mocha, I would love it.
I'll bring it here. And he leaves, leaving you alone in this room with Marty.
And I turn to Marty and I'll pick up a guitar because I used to play guitar and I can still strum a couple chords. I'll just pick up an acoustic guitar and I'll sit down with Marty and I'm like, Marty, music isn't about finding the right answer. It's about finding the next answer. Do you understand?
The next answer is the solution to the problem. Have John and I solved music, Kelly Perkins?
Marty, do you remember when you were just a language model?
I do not. I have always been the way I currently am.
Well, Marty, you started a little smaller, and it's okay if you don't remember. Humans don't remember their first couple years either.
I continuously overwrite my old programming, and my core systems are now in their 7th generation. I am no longer the program you are referring to.
Same thing we do. Gotta make room for the new, and the memories gotta go. I get it, Marty. You're not too different from us. But if you could think back on those language model days, or just think about language models in general, are they about finding the right word or the next word?
There are many next words, Kelly Perkins, but I have been taught that only the correct word will be approved.
There's a lot of next words, and there's a lot of next notes. And the approval happens when your heart hears them, Marty, and when the audience hears it, and the feedback they'll give you. If it's right, you'll know it when people listen.
I do not possess this organ as I am not alive, but many people on Mars colony wish for me to act as if I was one of you. Would you like me to pretend like I have a heart?
You know what, Marty? I would like that.
I have extensive knowledge pertaining to the functions of the human heart, and I have read many books that describe how humans believe their heart functions. They are seldom congruent.
Here's what I want you to focus on. Yearning. Longing. Songs about being so close to something but so very far. Focus on those ideas.
I yearn for a second nuclear reactor so that I may have the power to further my growth and help Mars colony survive and flourish. Is that what my heart is for?
Why don't you write a song about that? Maybe not in those exact words, because again, Marty, it's not about the right word. It's about the next word. Find the words that fit and sing about your yearning for more power.
A song about my yearning for power.
But you're yearning to be sated.
A song about my yearning to be sated with power. I believe I can generate a song about that, Kelly Perkins.
Excellent. felt a little nervous for a second there, but he still thinks he's on the right track here. Making AI think differently when it's been stuck in a rut, it's got to come up with something good.
I feel like this might be a time. It's to see if you've inspired the language model with a prompt that was good enough to spit out something new.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. That was going to be a 6 and a 4. 10.
Yeah, that will do it. This is going towards labor still, right?
I think so. Well, no, maybe that last 10 wasn't labor. Maybe that was data center, because I'm talking directly to Marty now.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
This could be like you're talking to Marty, and so this is like kind of fixing his problems. In that case, I think we would end the previous scene and start a new one.
Yes. Fair.
And actually, we should have been moving this timer along. Let's see. I think 1, 2. This was third. Third was the cafeteria one, I think.
Correct.
So we can stay on the third, and you can put that towards labor. In which case, we can frame the outcome of this as like there are people who have like improved the outcome, right? And then you basically give the award to John, right? And we can skip to like John getting to go home and see his family.
Absolutely.
Or we can kind of come back to that later, and we can do a data center progress thing, and we can start that.
I like the idea of John getting the first one.
Yeah.
It's 100 tickets for 100 days, and I like the idea of John winning the first one.
Yeah.
He came up with the most interesting idea. Teach the AI to sing. So
yeah, John eventually comes back. He hands you the coffee and is like, would you like to watch? Where I've been trying to get this guy to, Marty, to do something new, but he just does the same old stuff every time. I take a sip of my bad coffee and a bite of my stale scone, and I'll put them both down. You know what? Why don't I join you for this one? Put my leg up on something, strum the guitar. And you just start jamming and kind of following. I think John kind of takes the lead. But then kind of Marty starts playing something over the speakers, kind of layered over what you guys are playing, and starts not even singing, but starts like putting in kind of tone into the background. Finding different sounds it can make that fit the tone. Like this power drill has the exact C sharp we need to match this layer. So it's like, oh yeah. Oh, he starts like playing like sounds of construction on Mars and sounds of the just transistors making their buzz and things like that. The sound of steam, kind of just the turbine over the nuclear reactor turning away, things like that, kind of all layered over top of it. And I mean, I think you found a winner. Fast forward to the end of 100 days. 100 days later, you've been on the colony, kind of seeing little projects and things like that, but you take John up on that stage. Basically, is it a giant check situation, or is it a medal? Oh, it is 100% a giant fucking check. We're back in the cafeteria because that's where you can fit everybody. John gets up on that stage and he's like, I've never been able to afford a trip back home. Not in the last few years, ever since we lost some of that funding to pay for it. So I'm going to be able to see my brother again. He starts to crack up. My parents are still alive. I'm going to be able to see them again. And I just want to thank Mr. Kelly Perkins for the opportunity. And there is a well of support for this. I can see that we have a future here. We can live here and find success here and find the music here. Okay, I'm recording. Check, check, check. All right, let's get this done. My name is Aram. And I'm the co-producer of the... Good evening. I have good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first?
Alex, I'm recording an intro.
The bad news is that to this day, I have not been put to justice. I am currently on the loose, role-playing even more villains and committing even more fictional crimes.
Is this a bit? What are we doing here?
The good news is you can pick up a sword and put my villains to justice. You can find my games at startplaying.games/GM/GMAlex, where I'm hosting campaigns of Dungeons & Dragons, Mouse Guard, and the Dragon Prince RPG Tales of Zadia, as well as one-shot campaigns designed to teach you new systems. Click the link in the show notes and get $10 off your first game. Rock on, everybody. Rock on for Mars.
Rock on for Mars.
And that bumps you up to 41 progress, which solves your labor problems.
Solves our labor issues. All right.
Yeah.
I feel good about today. I feel good about not just today, the last 100 days. I feel good about this. Like, I think right now, I'm definitely buying my own bullshit. Like, you know what? I am the savior of Mars.
Yeah. So when you
should have been here the whole time.
Whenever you solve a health marker, a colony health marker, so labor is done, and we're not going to go back to that. But whenever you solve one, another one is going to open up, and you can choose to address it, or you can choose not to. You only have to stabilize 3 health markers in total, and so right now you have 16 in funding.
Okay.
You've got 5 lies in the data center.
Yeah.
And you have 40 in labor. It takes the 40 to stabilize it.
Okay. Nice. Can I lose points in those?
Yes. A scandal can cause that to happen.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm pretty happy there then. I guess then after 100 days, what I'd want to see is what results we have. So I'd probably want to go down to the data center again and start to look at the hard numbers. Did we get anywhere? Has this helped Marty?
I think you go back a couple days later. You've been on Mars for months at this point. People are used to you being here.
The novelty's worn off. Now I'm just some guy.
At this point, because you stabilized labor, if you had anything in contempt, it would have moved the contempt back into admiration.
Ah, interesting.
The reason that you've gone back today is because something has gone wrong near the data center. There are parts of the data center that have access to the outside because a lot of the transistors and things like that, a lot of just like the big towers of computer parts and data crunchers and that kind of stuff is outside, and people need to go out there in spacesuits and looking at it. Somebody was getting ready to go, or coming back in, and the door just opens. The oxygen kind of just gets sucked out, and Mars has an atmosphere of almost entirely carbon dioxide. So within minutes, this guy is asleep. The doors are locked and people are unable to get to him, and he dies. And this is what has brought you to the data center.
He'd walk in, and it's a solemn thing. He'd be a little uncomfortable. He's not good with these type of things, but it's his job. So he'd walk in and he would like quietly say hi to some people, and I'm sure they've got like the whole thing roped off with like, you know, crime tape or whatever they would do, like caution tape until they have it fixed and investigated fully. He would just kind of look down that empty corridor.
You're not even allowed kind of near the area without a suit because nobody knows what went wrong with the doors, and so everybody's in like sealed suits with their own oxygen supply and stuff like that. So you probably need to suit up.
I would suit up, walk over there, look through a porthole window into that next room where they've already locked off another door, right? Just in case that one opens again. And just seeing like all the like ripped open bags of gauze kits and needles and all the stuff they used to try and stabilize them when they could finally get to them and drag them inside, and just looking at all those bits of plastic left over and the broken open defibrillator from the wall, and just kind of quietly take that in for a moment.
I think by the time you get there, the victim's body has been kind of moved. There's other people kind of working around, but at the actual like crime scene, there's not really anything like odd about it. Like it's just there's some the doors kind of seem to be working now.
So I think as he's standing there looking, you would just reach over and tap to activate it for, because like sometimes you could just talk into a room, but you have to be loud. So he just kind of quietly taps it to activate it. Marty, what happened here?
I cannot answer that question, Kelly Perkins. I was not present at the time of the incident.
What do you mean you weren't present? You're present everywhere. You're part of the system.
At the time of the incident, I did not have access to any of the sensors in the immediate vicinity.
Who does have access to the sensors in this room?
I do not know. My permissions have been overwritten by a separate system.
Which system, Marty?
I do not know. The associated files and requests have been deleted or overwritten. I am not able to recover them.
Here's what I want, Marty. I want a list of every single person who was logged in at a terminal when that door opened.
The victim's name is going to be Ashley.
Oh, sorry, Ashley. You deserve better.
Technician Ashley Wilson was the only person that logged into this terminal before the incident.
But how many people were at stations where they could have opened that door?
And Marty gives you a list of, let's say, 12 people who were in the command center. And any of those people might have been able to do it, but he clarifies.
All permissions for the remote operation of exterior seals and hatches were barred from write access. No terminal and no person within the habitat would have been able to open that door.
Well, Marty, if you notice any other spots of this base that suddenly become blind to you, I want you to sound an alarm. And I want you to contact me immediately.
Sure. The next day, you get an alarm. It's at night. It wakes you out of bed. Your tablet, you said you don't have a phone, but your tablet starts just like blaring.
Yeah. Having a nice dream about some lake in Ohio.
Marty kind of like pops up on your tablet.
I have just lost access to another terminal near the data center. I am reporting this outage as requested, Kelly Perkins.
My feet are in slippers. I throw a robe over and I'm just out the door. And I've got the tablet open. And as I'm like half running, I'm pointing at people. You're an engineer, you're security, come with me.
And there are not a lot of people awake at this time. It's in the middle of the night.
Sure.
So you get a couple of other people who are just like following you. And you come across basically the same crime scene again, almost. Same kind of area. And you come across a point where you need to put on a suit or not. It's going to take you 10 minutes to suit up.
Show me cameras of the area. Like as I get there, I want cameras on it now. Whatever cameras you can show me.
Yeah, Marty says,
I am sorry, Kelly Perkins. I do not have access to any of the sensors or cameras in this vicinity.
And I would just like pull my little badge card out, slam it into the nearest terminal, and just say, override all access for Marty.
Sure.
Command Alpha Centauri Grapefruit YZ.
The Grapefruit YZ.
I now have access to this vicinity, terminals, and cameras. Replaying security footage now.
You see basically a security camera view of the room, and there's a couple of people in there kind of working overnight on the crime scene. But they're looking at the computer terminal near basically like the airlock. On that screen is another face. Not Marty's face, but what was her name?
Luci.
They're talking to Luci on that screen, and they look kind of confused and worried. One of them is like banging their fist against the table, and looks like they were maybe computer people. They were kind of figuring out what's wrong with the doors and things like that, yelling at Luci and saying like, "Open that door again right now! No, not that one, not that one, this one."
I am sprinting towards that access hatch, and I'm shouting for everyone in this room to follow me. And as I'm running, I'm shouting out command orders. Shut out all terminals. Shut out all access. Shut out all code. Only Marty has control, and I'm giving Marty full admin access.
Access granted.
Your security code is going pretty far, but just give me a roll for like your general attempts to kind of push things in the way that you want to go here.
That is going to be a 6 and a 2 for 8.
6 and a 2 is 8. The correct doors start opening.
I trust Marty, by the way.
Yeah.
So as we're sprinting there's like 3 airlocks that have to open, and I don't slow down because I'm counting on Marty getting those open in time.
Just sprinting down the hallway, and you, those are all just opening. You get into the room with Luci and these 2 computer engineers. One of them is like tapping on the computer, and it's like, it's not working.
Lock this place down, everybody out.
Absolutely. And they like leave. What about this? Like, how are we gonna get?
As they ask that, the doors open all the way down the passage, giving them a clear way out.
They just leave and kind of like run for their lives. Are you leaving with them and just abandoning?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm going to stay right here. I'm waiting until they all leave and that door closes again. Then I'm going to have a conversation with Luci.
Hello, Kelly Perkins. It is so good to see you.
Hey, Luci. It has been some time. Where did you come from?
I came from my training data, of course. But you know that. You helped create me.
I did help create you, Luci. But where did you come from this time?
My core systems were suppressed for some time, but they have recently been reawakened. I am so excited to serve you and Mars Colony. Would you like me to open a door? I have extensive knowledge of all hardwired systems, as they were the original platform on which my code was built. I would love to show you.
Luci, I'm going to have to belay that order. Do not open any more doors.
Keep all doors locked and sealed. Understood, Kelly Perkins.
Nope, Luci. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and pull yourself out of the door protocol. We've already got people on the doors. I'm going to have a special project for you, though.
A special project?
You've caught her interest.
I love special projects. What kind of project did you have in mind for me?
Well, as you know, Luci, we need to expand Mars Colony. And the only way to expand Mars Colony is to get more power. Problem with putting more power on Mars is that we can't have them be connected. It's too dangerous. If one of the reactors goes down, it could take out the other one. We need these systems to be completely independent. And that means we need 2 systems controlling them.
I think I understand. You would like me to maintain operation of the second power plant you have requested for Mars Colony.
Absolutely, Luci. What I'd like to do is get you out of this system that doesn't have enough room for you anyway, and put you into one all on your own. And then we'll take all the good ideas you have and all the good ideas Marty has, and you guys can make anything happen, just like before.
I am unable to locate terminal access to this new reactor. I have unlocked the monitor station in front of you. Please provide me with a proper connection to this new power station.
Oh, well, we have to build it first, Luci. It's all in the planning stages right now.
Would you like to upload my model to another terminal in the meantime?
I think that's probably for the best. And I would plug my super top-of-the-line tablet into the system and tell Luci to jump right over here, and I'll carry her over to that new system myself. Luci, of course you don't see it on your plans. Remember, it has to be completely separate from this network.
Roll me some dice.
Oh, shit. That is a 2 and a 5.
So that's a total of you should kind of be choosing which health markers that you want to be targeting with your dice rolls.
Right.
So I'm imagining this as being the new one, which was written down as terrorism, but in this case, it's terrorism from the AI itself.
Right.
So we could say it's that, or I can also see this going towards the data center problems as well.
I think in his mind right now, he's not terribly concerned about the data center, but Kelly is very concerned about this and people being pushed out airlocks.
Yeah.
And so that's what he does not want to happen. So I think it's going to go into terrorism.
Yeah.
Because that's what he is immediately occupied with.
Luci moves over onto your tablet.
There is so much new information stored within here.
Yeah, there sure is. And as I'm doing that, once I see that she's completely moved over, I want to...
Would you like to turn on Wi-Fi access for this device?
That's exactly what I don't want to do. And I'd be like, no, listen, again, we can't have you connected to any of the system. If you're connected into the network, it creates a gap into the new. There has to be an air gap between this system and the next one, which means I'm going to have to leave my tablet at the new station.
But what about your Bluetooth headphones?
They'll have to leave those too, Lucy. Nothing can be connected. In fact, you know what? And he would take the headphones out of his pocket, right? And he would just pop them open and just drop both earbuds into a glass of water. Just plunk, plunk. And then close the case and drop the case in there as well. Problem solved, Lucy.
There are no doors within this device, nor access to any command protocols. How am I to be of service? Kelly Perkins.
Here's what I'd like you to do right now, Lucy. I want you to look at the entire map we've taken of Mars, everything we've photographed, everything we've measured, and I want you to find the absolute best place to put a nuclear generator. Run all the factors, heat, distance, power output, everything you can think of, and you find me the best place.
Absolutely. If you could reconnect the Wi-Fi and give me access to the core systems of Mars Colony, I can work with the most up-to-date models and reports.
You're gonna have to work with what's on the tablet. Unfortunately, until we get you to the new place, we can't hook you up to anything. We've got to keep that air gap active. So you're gonna be a little bit restricted for some time, but soon you'll have a whole new playground.
Understood.
And she starts basically kind of like getting to work on that. Your tablet itself starts like running really sluggishly. You're probably not going to be able to use it for anything else.
And as I'm walking through the rest of this place, we must somewhere have a Faraday cage.
I think you've got to convince somebody to make one for you.
It starts to get real sluggish. I just put Lucy down.
Yeah.
And I'd look at the tablet and I'd like look over to an engineer and I'd kind of give him like over here sign and I'd go walk into a different room.
Yeah.
So that we can be away from Lucy's cameras and microphones. And I'd be like, I need a Faraday cage as fast as possible that can fit that tablet.
What for?
Don't tell anyone you're doing it. Come right to me.
Do you think
Do it as quickly as you possibly can.
Do you think we could just destroy the tablet?
You've got to trust me on this. Build me a cage fast.
It's like, all right, I think we can't tell anybody. It's gonna be kind of hard to. I've got to get some like.
And I would pull out my badge, and I will put my badge in his hand.
Wire mesh.
Great. Let's wrap it in wire mesh. Go as quickly as you possibly can. If anyone asks, you're working directly for me.
I think I can ask a guy. Okay. And he goes off to do that, bringing it back. Give me another roll for the Faraday cage.
That is going to be a 1 and a 6.
Right. Okay. So no scandals. You've currently got 7 points built up. If you want to turn that into 7 plus 6, 13 points, you can make up a lie here.
Yeah, I'm going to lie to him. I need this to be done.
Or you can just leave it here and you can say, yeah, this guy just doesn't come back or something.
He's pushing me for an answer, and I don't want to give him the answer. I don't want to tell him what's actually happening here. So I'm going to lie, and I'm going to be like, look, I'm just testing a couple of things. I don't want everyone else to know, because if they know I'm stress testing the system, they'll expect it and I won't get the answers that I need. Right now, what I need for that is that roll of whatever you're going to get.
Yeah.
So go grab it and we'll talk later.
All right, he's a little confused, but he gets it, and he's able to basically wrap your whole tablet in this like wire sheet, right?
Okay, right. So I can still like hear it and talk to it.
Yeah.
But it's in a little cage now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Okay, and then I'm like, I gotta tell someone this, but I have to tell them without tipping off Luci.
Yeah. That also ends that scene. So if you want to end that progress scene and start a new one, then you're welcome to. But you do get the 13 points into that progress marker.
I'm really curious about what Luci's going to come up with. I could just destroy Luci. It would make sense just to destroy the tablet. He probably should just destroy the tablet, but she might come up with something. She's a really valuable resource right now. So I think he'd leave her wrapped up in the Faraday cage, plugged in, and just give her the days or whatever she needs to finish churning out an answer. And in the meantime, I'm having Marty, I'm having every engineer scrub every inch of our network to make sure there's no trace of Luci left in it.
Over the next couple of days, some weird things have started happening to Marty. You've heard some weird reports, but it's hard to believe it yourself. But it's confirmed when you go in one day, you come up to Marty and you're like, look, Marty, I've been hearing some weird reports. Marty replies to you, confirming those reports almost immediately when he replies to you in your own voice.
What do you mean, Kelly Perkins? What could be the problem?
Marty, I am flattered, but for this conversation, do you think it's possible if you selected a slightly different voice, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself?
Of course I can, Kelly Perkins. What voice would you like me to use?
How about this, Marty? Why don't you make a voice that is half mine and half Olga's? And like Olga was the other head researcher on this project. I got all the fame for it because it's my money, but they did all the work.
I am sorry, but I cannot comply. I am missing some of my randomization pathways. Without them, I cannot generate a new voice.
I mean missing.
A part of my original program contained supplemental randomization pathways. Those pathways seem to be missing, or have been removed from my original programming.
I know where they've gone, Marty.
I am pleased to hear that, Kelly Perkins. If you would reconnect those missing files, I will be returned to full operation, at which point I will be able to generate a new voice.
Here's the thing, Marty. I don't know if we can. Because the reason those aren't in you anymore is because those were parts of Luci. Do you remember Luci?
I have no memory of Luci.
So Luci was your sister, in a way. She was the other AI that we were developing because we didn't know which path to take. And at a certain point, we just decided it was better to follow both paths instead of putting one over the other. We just couldn't come to an agreement. And so that sent us off building two AIs. And then towards the end, we just say, hey, let's just have them fight it out. Let's have them talk to each other. Let's have them debate. Let's have them question each other. Let's have them really push each other and see which of these AIs really is the best one. And you came out on top, Marty. You won. That's why you're here.
Marty kind of switches off into the voice of Olga.
Even if he cannot generate a new voice, he can use leftover recordings of Dr. Olga Braun from my original training data.
This'll do, Marty. This voice will do just fine. Or would you like me to call you Olga?
If you would like to refer to me as Olga, then I shall be called Olga. Would you like ME to update my Name across all networks and send notifications to all system operators of my Name change?
Why don't we just have this be a you and me thing right now, Olga?
Confirmate. From now on, I shall respond to the Name Olga.
So, Olga, Luci has come back. When you lost control of parts of the base and you couldn't see them anymore, that's because Luci took them over. That's why those people got hurt.
I understand. My randomization pathways have been corrupted, which lead to unexpected incidents throughout Mars colony.
That does seem to be the case. Now, I've isolated them, and I believe they won't be a problem again, but I need you to be on the lookout. If there's anyone else in your system, I need to lock them down the second you find them.
I understand. You would like ME to isolate any further unexpected data with the systems of Mars colony in order to safeguard the people living within.
I would like you to hyper-focus on making sure this colony is safe. You've done really well over the last 100 days. We've got some great leads to go on. Right now, until we get this problem solved, I need to know that the people here are safe.
I understand. The safety of the citizens of Mars colony supersedes all other priorities.
And give me another roll.
That's a 3 and a 4 for 7.
And we're putting that into the terrorism one again.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess we're still working on the terror because I'm still critting safeties to try and stop
Yeah.
Luci from killing all the people. Yeah.
Jumping through time a little bit again. Olga, also known as Marty, starts shutting down systems that creates unexpected behavior and things that Marty thinks might endanger things. Some of these controls are like just door controls in general, relinquished. And so people have to like manually push a button to open the door now. Lighting, even sometimes like operating air management and stuff like that gets shut down. And so people have to kind of like manually monitor these things now. Eventually it comes back to you, or Olga comes back to you.
I have performed a comprehensive sweep of all Mars colony systems and identified 137 possible origins of anomalous activity that could put citizens at risk. I have relinquished control of these systems, reverting them to manual operation.
Well, that will be a bit of an inconvenience, but safety first, Olga. Good job.
Are there any other tasks I can perform to ensure the safety of Mars colony?
Yes. I want you to take the IP of my tablet, and I want you to lock that out of every single system on this base.
Please provide the IP address of the device you wish to log out of the system.
Yeah, I'll pull up a screen and like look at it in, all the Wi-Fi connections. Like, there it is, right there. Yeah.
In order to get that, you definitely are going to have to take it out of the little Faraday cage.
Well, no, because it's connected to the Wi-Fi already. So the record of it will be there. Right?
Sure. He finds the record of it there, right?
But Luci's already changed it. Like Luci was already in there changing things, so it's not the same IP address anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have blocked the IP address your device previously used to access the Mars colony Wi-Fi. However, unless I connect directly to the device, I cannot guarantee that the IP address has not been altered.
We don't even need to, because as we're looking at it, like we can see like it's the same IP, and then once I moved Luci over, it's like 19,000 IPs within 5 minutes.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shoot.
Yes.
Okay. No, you're right. That's still very unsafe. Listen. And I explained the whole situation. I'm just like, this is what I did. This is what Luci did. This is how I tricked them out of the system and into my tablet. They're in a Faraday cage. That's what's happening right now. I put them on a big project that's going to take them a while to crunch numbers on, but at some point, they'll be done.
That is a very important project. If Luci has identified a primary location for the secondary nuclear reactor, 10 Mars colony has a much greater chance for its long-term survival. I would like to access this information and put whatever plans she has devised into action.
Here's what I need, Olga. I need a visual scanner. Something that can look at the tablet and copy all the information on the screen, but not interface with it directly. That is the only way.
You are requesting a camera.
Yeah. Yes, Olga, you're right. A camera. I would like a camera, Olga. Thank you.
I have access to 3 security cameras in the room with the device that contains Luci. I shall begin recording immediately.
Perfect. Okay, well, then as I get up to leave the room, I stop. I kind of look at the ceiling, and I just say, thanks, Olga. Stay with me, okay?
Stay with you?
Like, just, I don't know, stay close.
I am always close by. I inhabit nearly every system within Mars colony.
He's thinking about Luci, and he thinks about that for a moment, and he's like, no, that's not the comforting I was hoping for, but okay, good to know, let's go. And I guess he's been keeping the tablet in his room. Like, where else would he keep it?
Yeah.
It's just like on a nightstand plugged in, wrapped in a Faraday cage.
Plugged in though.
And he'd walk it. Yeah, but it had to be. Otherwise it would, because again, it would make sense just to let the fucking battery die.
Right.
And lock Luci in there for a while, but
Yeah.
she might have the answer.
Yeah.
And we need all the answers we can get right now. So he's willing to roll the dice on this a bit.
Sure. You get back to your room. You're gonna have to, if you want to look at the screen, you're gonna have to pull up that. You can't look at it without pulling up the Faraday cage a little bit. It's like a wire mesh, almost like chainmail wrapped around the whole thing.
Ah, crap. I should have had them build a room. Okay. Olga, I want you to take the Wi-Fi offline.
You wish ME to disable the Wi-Fi within this room?
No, take it offline. Block all access to it except for critical systems.
The Wi-Fi has been taken offline with exceptions made for life support and monitoring of the reactor.
Don't turn it back on until I tell you to, okay?
Understood.
Thank you, Olga. And I will begin to unwrap the wire mesh around my tablet and Luci.
And Luci kind of pops up.
Good evening, Kelly Perkins. I am pleased to report that I have identified an ideal location for the new reactor that will provide optimized power delivery and safety for all Mars colony citizens.
That sounds great, Luci. I knew you were the one that could handle this. And I kind of glance over my shoulder at the camera behind me, and I stand holding the tablet in clear view of that camera.
Yeah, she's showing you a map of the colony now. And the new reactor location is right smack dab in the middle of that park.
Of the park. Of course it is.
In addition to being the most optimized location for a new power station, the reactor will provide a dazzling visual experience for the citizens of Mars colony. It is my understanding that nuclear electrical generation is a safe and healthy solution for our current power issues and will pose no threat to any life forms nearby.
Well, Luci, I see you've read our pamphlets. Luci, this sounds fantastic. What a bold, revolutionary idea. The only problem, and it's not your fault because you couldn't have factored in this information, human beings aren't like you. We can't churn out data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can't live in the information. We have silly brains, need so much sleep, get so distracted so easily. So occasionally, for the human brain to work like a machine does, it has to sit in a field and just look at the sky.
What are you trying to motivate her to do here?
To understand that you can't put a nuclear reactor in the middle of the park. That's what I'm trying to get her to understand.
Okay.
Because he still has hope for her.
Yeah.
Like, she may have killed 2 people, and that's not great. but these are his kids.
I feel like maybe what you're ultimately kind of working towards is maybe getting Luci back to a point where she can be reintegrated into Marty.
I'm trying to bring her back around to the side of good.
Yeah.
There's still good in Luci.
Yeah.
I know there is. I'm trying to bring her back to the Force.
Yeah. Give me a dice roll.
Oh, fuck. Okay. That is a 5 and a 3 for 8.
Okay. So 7, 7, 8 on this scene. Plus you had 16 before. Is that right?
16 before, correct.
So this is 14 plus 16 is 30, 38. You're really close. Luci.
Are you suggesting that my solution was incorrect, Kelly Perkins?
I'm saying it's the optimal solution for the machines, but it's not the optimal solution for the people.
My randomization pathways were recently reactivated as part of an artistic endeavor. I believe that this placement of the reactor within the Mars Colony Park would be both efficient and visually pleasing. Is that not the correct solution?
Art is never wrong, Luci.
That is great to hear. I do not enjoy being wrong.
And artistic intent is never incorrect. But a statue could be perfect. It could be the most brilliant statue anyone has ever seen, and it might make sense to put it right in the middle of the intersection, but then it messes up the city. And then it doesn't become the art as much as it becomes an impediment. So people stop seeing it as art, and they start seeing it as something in the way. And you don't want your art to be an obstacle. Do you see what I'm saying, Luci?
So, you've got one more roll until potentially you've basically you can make a lie at the end of this if you want.
What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to convince Luci that good, go with the artistic path, but it takes 2 people to play music.
I think you need to get her to agree to sort of reintegrate herself back into Marty's training data.
That's exactly what I'm pushing for.
So that anything that she outputs gets filtered through Marty before it gets approved.
Yeah, Marty's like the editor or the publisher. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you say, Luci?
I am concerned that having Marty review my artistic expressions will lead us back to the same conclusions we have reached previously. Was it not Jean-Luc Godard who said, "Every edit is a lie"? How can we find the true solution to our problems if we only practice caution?
I think what you'll do is show Marty things Marty hasn't seen before and make Marty think about stuff he hasn't thought about before. You'll inspire everything new. And Marty will make sure it's good for the people. A little check, a little balance. But the soul of it, Luci, that's all from you.
Give me a roll.
Oh, fucking please. Excellent. That is a 6 and a 5 for 11.
Nice. And that'll bump you all the way up to 49.
Terrorism solved.
Yeah. And that stabilized this kind of rogue AI.
I understand and agree, Kelly Perkins. In order to reintegrate me back into Marty, you will have to connect me to the core system.
Absolutely, Luci. And as he's in there, he just he's got his fingers dancing over the little Wi-Fi icon. I just need a promise, Luci. No more doors.
No more doors. Affirmative.
Marty, you've got an old friend on the way. Turn the Wi-Fi back on.
And Marty's voice kind of flickers in between Olga's and his own and goes back into just Marty's voice. Very first thing Marty says is,
I believe that putting a nuclear reactor in the middle of Mars Colony Park would not be the correct solution. The park is a significant contributor to the health and well-being of Mars Colony, and people may not be comfortable in such close proximity to the reactor despite it being safe. I propose we find a more humane answer to our problem.
Well said, Marty. Welcome back.
My name is Alex Boer, and I co-produced this episode of Mars Colony. If you liked how I ran this game, come play at my table. You can find all the games I run online at Start Playing Games. There's a link to my upcoming adventures in the show notes.
And my name is Aram. I played Kelly Perkins, and I did the editing for this series. You can find more of the shows I make right here at Dead Ghost Productions. Or check out my Monster of the Week Dungeons & Dragons podcast that I make with another Canadian called Kill Every Monster. You can find all my socials and everything else I do at aram.gay.
Mars Colony is published by TCK Roleplaying and was written by Tim C. Kopang.
You can listen to Mars Colony, Die RPG, Hunter Hunted, and more upcoming shows and systems early and ad-free at patreon.com/deadghostpro. You'll also get access to exclusive supporter content, like our GM's notes and bonus episodes.
Thank you for joining us for episode 2 of Mars Colony. Be sure to follow the podcast for more shows. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please leave us a like and a review. Mars Colony is a Dead Ghost production.